This conference will now be recorded.
Hey, all you crypto boomers, have we got a special guest today? Bud and I are here with our special guest, and that is Crypto Jay from the BitcoinAcademy.net. And let me just start off with Jay is a very good friend of mine. I've been blessed over the past few years to get to know him very well, and he's a very good friend and mentor in so many things other than just the crypto space. Um, but Jay is a very caring, and he loves to teach people. And I caught that from the very beginning back in 2017. And I've learned more than just crypto from Jay, and I'm really excited to get into this interview and introduce you guys to someone that is very special to me. So with that, I just want to introduce who he is and where he comes from. Crypto Jay has been a successful entrepreneur his entire adult life, probably the past 30 years. He's very successful in swing trading for going on close to 20 years. Uh, Jay traded stocks and options before he mastered the international Forex market, where he personally started an international Forex fund managing many millions, as well as leveraging technology, where he built a very lucrative online trading room where he taught over 35,000 people globally. Um, his reach included students from 67 different countries. Letting go of his Series 3 and Series 7 license, Jay no longer trades for others, but he has now taken his experience and expertise in trading and combined that passion with the decentralized cryptocurrency market and has created wealth at an incredible pace. I know the wealth he has created. We've talked about it in private, and it is staggering. Um, he has taken an advisory managing role, trading large international crypto fund in an effort to help a small number of everyday people. And yes, he is once again teaching others, not only all that he knows as an expert swing trader, but he also is teaching the ins and outs of the crypto market in general. What to look for, what to watch out for, how to build wealth, how to create wealth, and that's a very important part for this channel, for all of our baby boomers out there who are retiring at or reaching age 65 at about 10 to 12,000 people a day right now in that in that group. So um, he teaches how to keep your wealth safe, the top coins to invest in for maximum return, and so much more. Um, and it's just really my honor and my pleasure to introduce Crypto Jay, my good friend and mentor. Jay, are you there?
I am here, buddy. Thank you so much for all your kind words.
Absolutely, man.
Hello to you and Bud both.
Well, we
Yeah,
we
hey
really
Jay.
appreciate it. Before I have Bud get started with the interview, that's kind of his forte. Um, did I miss anything there? Because there's a lot to the expertise that you bring into the market, not only into the market, but also just in your teaching style. And let me start off with this. One of my favorite things, being a student of yours and going through all of the different modules and teachings and just in our conversations, most of the time weekly or every other week, the most important thing that I've learned from you is psychology. I'm a successful real estate investor. Most people know that. I have a very large real estate portfolio. Started out with nothing. I come from a farming background, just a regular guy, hard worker. Believed in hard work, but also believed in myself. But at the same time, I was in the forex market several years ago, and I lost, a lot of money in the forex market. I knew exactly how to trade. Uh, Wanted to be a day trader, but the problem is I did not have the psychology down. And my favorite thing that I've learned from you, Jay, is the psychology of trading. And I think it was either the first or second teaching that you did back when I started with you in 2017. And I don't think it's overstating it that it changed my life. It certainly changed my investing life, but it's been the biggest game changer in my wealth creation journey. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Bud and let Bud get started on just asking you some questions. And we've got some exciting things towards the end of this interview where you're going to actually share some of the trades that you've gotten us into, that you've helped us with, and in creating the wealth that we've created. Before I do that, do you know, I don't want to overstate this, but it's somewhere in the neighborhood in our group of investors that you teach. We're somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 to 200 million, right? Invested.
You're talking about the conglomerate of people that
Yeah.
are in our group. Well, actually, our group, there's two groups. There's a group you're a part of and another group. And that total is probably more like 300 million.
Okay.
Yeah, $300 million. So the way I kind of view it, and I don't view it in this way from a egotistical way, but I'm just stating the facts, and the facts are I have become a thought leader for about $300 million worth of invested funds into the crypto space, of which a big portion of that is mine. So it's it has grown quite a bit, especially during the bear market, So yeah, that would be an accurate statement between a couple different groups that I'm working with.
Okay, great. Just to kind of give people an idea, and that's people with a couple $1,000s in the crypto market all the way up to millions of dollars in the crypto market. So and one of the things you talk to us about is not just trading or making money, but creating wealth, and I really like that. So with that, Bud, you want to hop on and let's go ahead and get started asking some questions. Jay's a wealth of knowledge and a very interesting guy. So I'm just going to sit back and enjoy and may interject a little bit every now and then.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. That's terrific. So Jay, hi. One of our core things on this channel is that we're really appealing to the baby boomers. Now, the baby boomers are incredibly wealthy, one of the biggest wealthy demographics, and they are leaving the workforce in droves. I mean, 76 million in the US are leaving the workforce. Now, a lot of those baby boomers are having their money managed professionally, or they're just using index funds. What I wanted to ask you is, a baby boomer, say age 60 or over, are they realistically likely to learn the skills of investing within the crypto market, given it's so new?
Are they realistically, you're asking me, can they do it on their own without those hedge funds and without all those little indexes that they're a part of?
Yes, because there's really not the same infrastructure on managing in the crypto market as there is in the traditional market. So can those baby boomers realistically acquire the skills to manage their own money in the crypto market?
100% yes, and I'll tell you why. We're moving into a time, and people are seeing this right now with the latest debacle going on from GameStop and the Wall Street bet guys. They cost Wall Street, the number I heard was $82 billion recently, and they're not done yet. And I don't think there'll be any punishment coming. But what's happening with that is it's actually exposing what's going on. So let me give you an example. My grandfather was a Jewish grandfather, and he left my grandmother sitting really pretty. She had many millions, and he had an investment firm that he worked with for years and years. And the beautiful thing about him was he was his own free thinker. So he might get a advisement from his advisor, and he would say to them, I'm following the market as well, and no, I don't want to do that. So don't make that move for me. And what a lot of people don't understand is they have someone managing their wealth who in a lot of cases doesn't even make as much money as they make. So what I would say to a baby boomer today is this: if you have created $1 million, $5 million, $10 million, $50 million worth of wealth, and you have someone that's advising you on it, I would be asking your advisor how much are you worth? Because most people don't have any clue that they have a $50 million pot of money sitting in with an advisor, a $5 million pot of money sitting in with an advisor, and that advisor is telling them the moves to make, and yet that advisor hasn't made enough moves in their life correctly to be at 5 million or to be at 50 million. And so I have people that call me all the time and they say, you know, hey Jay, we want to plan your financial future. And I say, fantastic. Are you worth $100 million? And they say, well, gosh, no. And I say, well, are you worth $50 million? Well, no. Well, you sound like you're probably in your 20s. Are you worth $5 million? No. Well, when you get to $100 million, call me back, because I don't take advice from people in life that have not done what I've done. And so that's the first place to start for a baby boomer is, are you allowing someone else to plan your future that's not qualified, and you think they're qualified because they have a name above their name, and maybe that name is Morgan Stanley, maybe that name is Raymond James, maybe that name is Merrill Lynch. So that's the first place to start, is to understand you're probably, in a lot of cases, you have your money in a place being managed, and maybe even sometimes successfully, by someone who's really not qualified to do it. And now we're moving into a space in the world where more and more people are going to see the corruption, I think is a good word, happening behind the scenes on, let's call it Wall Street, right? So here we have this pandemic, we have a K-shaped recovery, Wall Street goes to the moon, and everybody on Main Street is sitting over here going, hey, what about us? Like, why are we getting left at the bottom? And so that's going to bring out a lot of things. And as it brings those things out, I think more and more people will take control of their wealth, take control of their investable dollars, and say, hey, let me be proactive and let me go to some people that are willing to help me, that'll kind of grab my hand and walk alongside of me and coach me a little bit and get me started and show me the way. And that's kind of what we've built at the BitcoinAcademy.net. You know, there's me kind of working on the investing side, and then there's George, who is constantly staying on top of this ever-changing market to keep people's wealth safe, keep them in a position to win. They're not losing their wealth. They're not being hacked. They're not having all those detrimental things that can take place in crypto. So to answer your question in just a short amount of time, because I know I've just given you probably a way bigger answer than you were looking for, but in a short amount of time, here's what I would tell you. We have people within our team that are 75, and I actually have my oldest person that I'm mentoring is 80 years old. And this person has a phenomenal crypto portfolio. And guess what? They have their own wallets. They're keeping up with their own keys. They're following along with what we're doing. And one of the beautiful things about what we do is that I teach people every single thing that's in my head of 20 years of being in this space. But while I'm doing it, they can follow along, because I don't tell people what they should buy, but I do tell people everything I buy, when I buy it. I tell them what I'm targeting. I tell them when I'm going to be exiting, and I keep people up to speed with that. So here's what they get an opportunity to do. They actually get an opportunity to not have to go out there and be beat on the chin like I was the first 5, 6, 7 years as an investor. And I lost $500,000. And I had to come back from that. Well, I had to learn what not to do first. So now, you know, kind of when I set this system up, I said, listen, wisdom is learning from the mistakes of others. So let me teach all my mistakes. Let me teach all the things I've done right. Let me teach all the techniques. But at the same time, let's don't forget that time and space is moving past. So during that time, let's give people an opportunity to win. So all those, you know, folks that we're working with, and our average age group is about 40 years old up to about 70 is our average. And then there's a few older folks in there and a few younger folks, but they actually have had an opportunity to start building their wealth. Just in the last 3 months, I've had probably 24 people send me messages to say, I'm now a new millionaire. I've never been a millionaire before. And so that's just been fantastic for me to hear that, because that's what I want to do. It's not fantastic for me to hear
Well,
it
that's
because
wonderful.
I'm looking to have a big head. It's fantastic for me to hear it because it lets me know that the way I'm spending my time is actually being the most useful human I can be to somebody. So it's very, very exciting. And I would answer your question again at the end here, 100% yes, they can. I don't mean to be so long-winded.
I mean, that's beautiful. And one of the reasons why a lot of us are in crypto, or what attracted us to cryptocurrency, is that it's rebellious. It's almost like a new financial system. It's got freedom to do whatever you want. And we've just recently experienced a similar kind of rebellious attitude with GameStop. I wonder what your take is on GameStop and what it's saying about this anti-Wall Street reaction that's starting to percolate out there.
Well, my reaction to it would be I applaud what these people are doing because they're exposing. So everything they're doing that now they're calling for agencies to come along and do a full investigation, everything these people did was in fair market trade. There's no law against what they did. And I would also say to you that in the Wall Street Club, let's call it the Boys Club, I think that's the way I hear it most of the time. In that Wall Street Boys Club, they've been doing this very thing to the average investor for decades. And now all of a sudden, when it gets done to them and there's an $82 billion loss, they go, hey, who turned off our faucet? Hey, who came in our playground and kicked up all the dirt? Well, sorry, but somebody just decided that they could come together as their own growing force and fight fire with fire. So why is it not right that these folks did this, but it's okay all the time when Wall Street wants to create a huge crash in real estate and nobody pays the piper for that. A lot of people get wealthy from it. How come that's okay, but yet this is not okay? So that would be kind of mine. And I would even go back to, started to give you the example of my grandmother, and my grandfather left her in a really sweet spot. But not only was he a free thinker and he knew how to make those decisions, but once he was gone, my grandmother did not. And can I tell you that I started to observe what was happening, and yet, I was a young investor at that time, and I didn't have the background and I didn't have the success yet to be able to say to my grandmother, "Hey, stop listening to those guys." But what happened was when my grandfather disappeared, I'd see the market go way up, way up. And even the instincts of my grandmother, having followed along with the investments of her husband for years, would think to herself, I probably should be taking some profits here. And she'd go to her investor advisor and say, hey, shouldn't we be selling some of this? And of course, they would always talk her out of it. Okay. And then all of a sudden, the market would turn and it would go way down. And here would come her investor, oh, we really think you should be getting out here. And you know what I heard? You know what I heard in a back office meeting on more than one occasion? I heard that the control being taken there is this. Now I can't validate this, so I'm going to call it my opinion that this is probably what's happening. So the investing advisor is really selling off all of my grandmother's positions at the top. And then when the market goes to crash, because look, they have full control over it. There's nobody auditing what they're doing. There really isn't. And all of a sudden the market starts to crash and they run in as a salesperson and sell you on the idea that you should be selling your positions. Well, now they made all that money between where they really sold it and where it actually, where on paper to the client, it looks like that they sold. And then all of a sudden they get back in at the bottom with the client's money and it starts to go way up again, and they wait till it goes a certain part and then they run back to the client and go, hey, you should get back in. In fact, now that I'm thinking about it, Paul, didn't you and I have a conversation like this one time? And this happened to like your dad or your brother or somebody, the exact same thing happened that I'm talking to you about. Their advisor was telling them, no, don't get out at the top. And you were telling your family member, hey, get out. Like, you've got a phenomenal profit. Take some of that profit and get out. And they didn't. And then all of a sudden it went way down. And then here came running their advisor to tell them, oh, we think you should sell now. and they lost all this wealth. Am I thinking of the right conversation, Paul?
No, that's 100% right, Jay. We talked about it. That happened to my dad. Back in '08, I went to my dad and I said, Dad, I think you need to go in cash. At the time, he was, I try to think, 72 years old, and or 69, sorry. Anyway, told him he needed to go to cash. He called his investment broker, and they talked him out of it. And within 3 or 4 months, he had lost half of his retirement wealth, half of it, just slightly over half of it. And at that point, they told him better sell. He sold, and he had to put it into an annuity, and that's all he had for the rest of his retirement. He's 81 now, and unfortunately, it changed his whole retirement life, him and my mom's whole retirement life, because of that. And they didn't care. I just put it shortly. They did not care.
Wow. Yeah, so
That's unbelievable.
I think that kind of answers your questions there. And I think what's happening over with the GameStop stuff, I think it should continue to happen. I think that the corruption that's been going on for multiple decades should be exposed, and the people should see, like, the people that have put their faith and trust in some of these folks wearing suits, cleanly shaved faces, hair all slicked back. I call them fast talking Gomer Pyles, but they should see what they're really up to. And this kind of activity that's going on, $82 billion loss for these folks, I think it is fabulous.
Now, a lot of the audience are baby boomers, and this wealth that they have, they hear the words wealth transfer, and it is a scary concept. Jay, what do you know about a wealth transfer? What do you think is happening in the future that we should be a little bit concerned about if we're just approaching retirement and we want to have a good rest of our lives? What should we know about a wealth transfer?
Well, I think one of the biggest things, I'm 48, I'm not 68, I'm not 72, but I think that when I begin to look at what's taking place, you've got a group of people that hold more wealth than any other generation alive today. They used to be the largest generation. The millennials just passed their numbers, so now the millennials are the largest generation. But you've got a lot of dynamics happening here, a lot of moving parts. You've got, right at 60% of millennials living at home with their parents. You now have multi-generational housing with COVID and so many people unemployed. And then on top of all that, we've backed our way into a corner in this country. I say we, wasn't really up to us, but there's no interest rate. And so since there's no interest rate, there's no way to make money on your money. And a person that's kind of been working the system, they've had their tongue on the pavement for 50 years, grinding it out, and now they've been able to come up with a block of wealth, a block of money. And now what they want to do is they want to have that event where they, run on the sandy beach or maybe walk on the sandy beach in their linen shirt, and they enjoy the fruits of their labor by earning, some interest on their money. And I remember when we had Reaganomics, you could earn 15% on your money. So you had $1 million in the bank in the 80s, you could earn $150,000 a year with $1 million in the bank. And $150,000 a year goes a long way. And now people are looking at their nest egg and they're going, well, what if I live to be 95? Can I make it on this? No, I can't make it on this. When I look at the cost of milk today, when I look at the cost of a brand new Cadillac Escalade, when I look at the cost of buying clothes and all the different things, and by the way, still going up, and thank you to our government for continuing to print money. And I can't understand why so many people want to save something that is printed every single day. So let's go put our money into something that is not printed every single day. The actual supply of it's going down. And that's kind of the, I think that's the draw that many of us see to cryptocurrency is it's the most pristine asset class we've ever seen. And I notice I didn't say Bitcoin, I said cryptocurrency. There's people arguably that would say, hey, the best out there is Bitcoin. And I agree with them. It's a good one. But there are so many things happening beyond Bitcoin that most people coming into Bitcoin today won't see for 12, 16, 18 months. And it took me that long too. It took me a while to start to see, hey, there's a much bigger picture happening here. And so those folks that are looking at retirement today or retirement next year or whatever, they need to be considering the fact that they are being forced into a market where in that market, look, let's just call it what it is. Every single stock out there has something called a market maker. So you're a baby boomer, you're going to put your money into stocks because you can't earn any interest at the bank. And you go, I have to do something. I'm not going to go become a Walmart greeter. I have to do something. So they go and they say, well, the best thing I know to do is Apple keeps going up, Tesla keeps going up, Amazon keeps going up. And they go and they enter into a market that they've never really been able to, I don't know, wrap the reins around or really fully understand. And they've taken a whole lifetime of effort and put it over here. And now there's a market maker. And what a market maker gets paid to do, most people don't even realize this. A market maker, most of them make $250,000 to $500,000 a year, and they're picked by companies like Tesla, and they say, we want you to be our market maker. That guy's job, his job, what he gets paid to do is steal your money. That's actually what he gets paid to do. Like, that's his job. How much retail money can you steal? And if you steal enough this year, we'll pay you a phenomenal bonus. And that's what he does. He makes the market. So does that sound like free market trading? I don't think so. This whole debacle with GameStop has unfolded and shown people that there's now like 5,100 or 4,100 other major corporations that all these big conglomerates have short. They have short positions on, and they're holding down their prices. They're allowing this process of let's sell one share of stock 100 times. Let's have derivatives. I mean, most people don't even realize this, but every treasury out there. So you take a BlackRock. BlackRock has a treasury. You take a Tesla. Tesla has a treasury. You take a publicly traded company. There's tons of treasuries out there. Most people don't even realize it, but a treasury is owned 32 times at the same time. We have derivatives on top of derivatives on top of derivatives. And so you want to talk about a transfer of wealth? The transfer of wealth happening right now where the system is collapsing and they're unbelievably at a record pace trying to rehypothecate all the value that they have pumped up into the system. They're trying to rehypothecate it over into digital assets. We'll just call them digital assets as a whole. It doesn't just mean Bitcoin. Bitcoin is one, it's a phenomenal one, but Ethereum is a good one. You know, Litecoin is a good one. Ripple is a good one. I mean, there are so many fantastic projects that are needed, and they're having to rehypothecate the value that they have overinflated in this system, and they want to try to do it without being exposed. And this whole GameStop thing just exposed a big one right there. And I think that grows. I think that actually grows over these next few weeks. I think you're going to see even more outcry over that. So when you ask me about a transfer of wealth, I say to myself, gee, it's happening right here in front of us, and most people are missing it. And the reason they're missing it is because they're still listening to the talking heads on TV that are saying, well, I think you should have, you know, at least 1% of your wealth in Bitcoin. Okay, that guy is getting paid to say that, because those people that were saying that 2 years ago have now come out. I mean, just this past week, we actually saw in the underground news, let's call it, because it certainly wasn't plastered on the TV, but big endowments like Harvard and Yale have been quietly, secretly almost, I would use that word, buying Bitcoin this whole time. So while they're telling you, I think you should have 1% of your wealth in Bitcoin as a hedge, They really probably, many of them, I mean, it's now come out that Paul Tudor Jones, he hasn't fully disclosed his position, but it started out with this whole 1% meme, and he's now over 7%. Well, when did he do all that? My contacts tell me he's done that for the last 7 years. And yet, when you talk to him on TV, he's a talking head. He said he's being told, don't you dare talk about this because we can't have this system collapse too fast. And that's what would happen if everybody came charging into crypto. You'd have one big, huge green candle, and the system we have today would completely crash. So I'm actually an advocate of a more measured move, but at the same time, I'm not an advocate for keeping this broken, overinflated system going where the next people that will be attacked, the people that have the most money, is the baby boomers. I'm not an advocate of now let's steal all their money. I'm not an advocate of that.
Well, that's why they come to this channel, to get the truth and to try to figure out the best way to navigate the waters. So the channel is only for entertainment purposes. So, you know, on this channel, we don't give financial advice.
100%.
I know that Paul and I have built some really good wealth with yourself over the last several years. So I was wondering, Jay, you've got the chart up here. I've been looking at it now, Bitcoin, but could you maybe share with us a few of the charts where we've been building positions with you as a team and how we've created wealth from those positions?
Absolutely. And let's start out with, we'll go through maybe 3 or 4, and I'll try to keep it a little shorter than longer. But let's talk about why we have gone out and done our own investigation to see what else there is that we might want to be involved in. And so I think you have to consider the fact that for thousands of years, gold has been a great way to protect wealth. When they look at gold today, and I actually think this is changing right here at this precious time in history, but up until today, you could now today say, hey, an ounce of gold will buy you a really high-end, fancy, you know, personal tailored suit, a couple of $1,000s an ounce. And, you know, 500 years ago, an ounce of gold would do the same thing. 100 years ago, so it's done a good job of being a hedge. It's done a good job of protecting wealth. It's a great way to transfer wealth that you have. So let's just say you're, you know, let's just say now today, one of the big terms out there is a centimillionaire. So let's just say you're a person worth $100 million and you just want to protect that and not see it go backwards. Gold has kind of done that pretty good. It's not perfect, but pretty good. But here's the thing. It's not a way to grow wealth. So now all of a sudden in humanity, there might be, you know, 36 million millionaires in the United States, something of that nature. But that just means maybe there's that many people worth a couple of $1 million. How are you going to go from a couple million or from 100,000 or from 10,000? How are you going to go to that next level? And I think that gold is not the tool for that. And I think that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are. So let's talk about that a minute. Since we've got the charts up here, let's just take a look at this. And I'm going to go to a weekly chart so we can see a much bigger picture. And let's just look at why we as a team have looked at other cryptocurrencies. So Metcalfe's law kind of determines a lot about the future in any one space. And if we look at this, let's go here and grab our price range. This is going back early on in Bitcoin. This is back in 2012. So not the very beginning, but look at this first big move here. One of the first big moves in crypto. This was a move that happened over the course of, this was December 2012, and it brought us forward to, looks like November 2013, almost 1 year. Bitcoin, if you guys can see that on the chart there, Bitcoin went up 52,557%. I mean, this is an unbelievable number. It's one that we over at the BitcoinAcademy.net have kind of succumbed to, and we're not, you know, okay, so we realize what we're in. Bitcoin took a time of rest for a couple years, what we call a bear market, And then all of a sudden it began to go again. And from the bottom of the bear market, the next time it went 12,880%. Okay? So you can begin to see right there in two bull markets that Bitcoin's X factor has slowed down considerably. Now we're into the next one here, and we'll go from there. If we went 12,880%, that would put us at roughly right there, around 393. I actually don't think that's where we end up during this bull cycle. I think we end up here. For me personally, I think that by November 2022, we're probably somewhere in this $200,000 range. And guess what? The X factor, you can see 52,000%, 12,000%, 7,000%. But Metcalfe's law dictates to us that Bitcoin has a lot of brothers and sisters, lots of brothers and sisters. So let's take a look at the biggest brother of Bitcoin, I think, which is Ethereum. Let's take a look at Ethereum. In 2019, I was selling off a tremendous amount of my Bitcoin. And I was doing that between the prices of about $6,500 and all the way up to $13,750. When I did that, my plan was to say, okay, I bought those Bitcoin way cheaper, but now I want to move toward some of the items that are going to have a little bit bigger growth. So let's do this. Let's pull up a second chart, and on this one here, let's put Bitcoin on it. And I think this will be a good example for the folks that are listening to this. And let's go here. That's a 1 week chart. Let's get rid of all that. And let's pull this up. There we go. So one of the things that I noticed in this last bull run that took us into 2017 is that Bitcoin had a move the entire time, and it was 12,800%, just like we talked about a minute ago. Now, when I look at the move that Ethereum, the big brother of Bitcoin, had, look at this. 24,526%, double what Bitcoin is. Wow, that opened my eyes a lot. And it made me begin to realize that there are some other investment vehicles here within crypto that maybe don't have as big of a network. Maybe they don't have, you know, the name of Bitcoin just yet. They're still yet to come. But look at our current move this year. So this year, in this time frame back here in our community, our private community, I was advising people, and the two of you can back me up here, I was advising people everywhere from about right here, let's call it $200, for 2 years. I was telling people, buy your Ethereum. You better be getting Ethereum, guys. I mean, I wouldn't say it like that because I don't advise people what to buy, but I was telling people in so many words, hey, I'm not letting this opportunity pass. I'm buying more Ethereum. I'm buying more Ethereum. I'm buying more Ethereum. My average price on Ethereum is in the 120 to 140 range. Okay, so it's not this very bottom piece here, which came down to $84, but it's somewhere right in this circle. Can you guys back me up on that? Did I go over this at least 100 times over a 2-year period?
100%.
Okay. If you
Absolutely.
were catching the absolute bottom, you have a move right now that goes to 1,850%. Well, Bitcoin's at 990%. Same time frame from right here, right there, to right here, and right here. This is March of last year to right here. And actually, this is fixing to expand greatly because Ethereum just broke this high over here, and now you're going to see Ethereum double its price. The first stop is about 2,200, and then we go from there on to around $3,000 to $3,500. And that's just charting. I'm not trying to predict the future. I'm not trying to say Jay knows it all. I'm just saying that's charting. That's what happens when you break out of a pattern, and you can see there's a big pattern here. It's called a big W pattern. And when you break out, you can begin to chart that. And so, you know, it broke out of that pattern, it came back, it tested it here, and now we're on the way to the upside, okay? And so there's places as a chartist that you can chart these things. And that's what I do, that's my specialty. So from that perspective, we found that if you will take advantage of collecting a position, we're not day traders. We don't want to sit in front of the computer screen all the time. We don't want to have to constantly be pulling charts up on our phone. We collect a position for, in this case, this was about 18 months. We were collecting this position, collecting this position, collecting this position. And I was having to coach people. Okay, guys, just hold on. Just be patient. I know the price is down again. Use this as a chance to buy some more. You've probably made money in the last 10 months of your life. Buy some more Ethereum if you have it. And I said to them, all the way back then, do you remember I was telling people that when this finally breaks out and goes above this, I've got targets that go thousands of dollars? And look at what we're doing. We're breaking out now, and now we'll be going into thousands of dollars, just the way Bitcoin did. When Bitcoin broke, let's see, right there, $1,400. Isn't it amazing that when Bitcoin broke $1,400, that's the very spot that right now we've been waiting on Ethereum to break. Ethereum went to $1,377. Well, look back over here. Look back over here, right there. It went almost to $1,300. When it broke that, when it broke right there, it went up almost 20 times the price. It went up 18 times the price right there over a 12-month period. That's fixing to happen in Ethereum. So therefore, because I started to notice, hey, the percentage of gain over here is so much bigger than the percentage of gain of Bitcoin. I think I'd rather be in Ethereum. I think I'd rather be in Ethereum. Now, let's take a look at some other trades, some of the ones we've completed this year. I think we would be a little remiss if we didn't talk about a trade we made this week, but we'll come back to a couple other ones. This week, on December the 26th, I made a trade. I put a trade call out, and this was it here, on a coin called Uniswap on December the 26th. So that would have been on this candle right here. For most people, they bought this between $3 and $3.30. And I said to people then, please back me up, gentlemen. I said to people then, I have a target on this of $20 to $22. Can you guys back me up?
100%.
Absolutely.
I didn't expect it was going to happen in 6 weeks. 5 weeks really is what it took. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. So this on Saturday of this past week, it reached $20.55. I just happened to be available. I happened to notice it. My alarm went off on it, and I started looking at it, and I said, gee, I don't really want to bring that money out of crypto. What could I possibly do with it? I'm up from $3 to almost $21. If your audience will give this to me, I'm up 7 times my money basically. So for those of you that maybe are a little bit trying to put the math together, if I had $1,000 in it, I'm now up at $7,000. If I had 10,000 in it, I'm now up at 70,000. And I had more than that in all this position. So now all of a sudden I'm staring at this really large number that this has turned into, and that's what crypto does. To talk about having a wealth transfer, that's exactly what crypto does. And I'm looking at this large number, and I don't want to pull it out of crypto. So I say, where can I go? Well, we have another cryptocurrency that we're tracking, one of our trades over here, and it hadn't really launched yet. And the name of that crypto is Trade. This is called Unitrade. So on Saturday, which would have been right here on this weekly candle, at 15 cents, I moved many thousands of dollars, 7x the trade, over into Unitrade. Once we got it in Unitrade, because the chart, again, that's what I do, I do charts. The chart was screaming at me going, hey, I'm just about to launch. Let's put some volume on here. I'm just about to launch. This whole move here had huge volume. And as a trader, what you're looking for is on your pullback here, you're looking for it to do that on less and less and less volume. So the volatility in it goes out. And all of a sudden it comes rushing back in and your trend continues. Most people, when they're looking at it down here, they're going, I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. But in our group, what I teach people is the wealthiest people on the planet, they buy the fear. When most people are afraid to buy, that's when they buy. They sell the greed. When most people are going, oh my God, you got to get some of this, like recently with Ethereum. The largest amount of volume ever to flow into Ethereum has happened in the last couple of weeks on Ethereum. So, you know, it just is proof in point is what it is. So that happened right over here. You can see some of the volume flowing in here on Bitfinex. And if we move Ethereum, when we go to an onboarding, look at this. Look how big that volume is, gentlemen. That's the biggest volume that's ever happened. Well, where's the price of Ethereum? It's way up here. So all of a sudden it came way up here and all of a sudden everybody got interested. In our group, we teach people how to be interested at the right place. You guys will be able to back me up on this as well. In 2018 and 2019, I went through a whole host of cryptocurrencies. And let's just say that the crypto was right up here with Ethereum and I saw a pullback coming. I was going out in the future and I was putting little boxes like this and I was going, look, we're not buying it till it hits our box. And can you guys agree with me? Probably 80+% of the time it hit my box. Sometimes it went a little past it. Sometimes it just barely got to it. A few times it might have gone way past it, but that box got hit a lot, didn't it, guys?
Jay, I was just going to mention that about 3 minutes ago, that, you know, a lot of times you're setting your targets, showing us a box of range of the targets. And it is, it's incredible how often the charts have just shown where it's going to go to.
Yeah. So over here on Unitrade, we pivoted our position. We could have gone to a stable coin and just said, hey, we all made a lot of money. This is fantastic. And again, I didn't know it would happen in 5 weeks. I just knew I got a target, and when it gets there, I'm taking my profit. I'm a swing trader. I don't care if it happens in 1 day or it happens in 1 year. It doesn't really matter to me. I can set alerts and go live my life. I don't have to sit in front of a computer and my hair continues to turn more gray. Or maybe I'm so frustrated that I'm pulling it out. So I just go live my life. Well, we pivoted our position as a group over into this cryptocurrency called Trade at 15 cents. Well, right here a couple minutes ago, we were at 45 cents. So if you're up 7x and you come in at 15 cents, if you're up 7x on your money and it goes to 30 cents, you're now up 14x your money. If it then goes from 30 cents up to 45 cents, you're now up 21x your money. So again, let's go back and do the math for those listening that, you know, maybe can't crunch it quite that fast. If you had $1,000, you just went to $21,000 in 6 weeks. If you had $10,000, you just went to $210,000 in 6 weeks. And so guys, this is when you want to talk about, hey, can you tell us a little bit about the transfer of wealth? This is a huge transfer of wealth because there's nothing that moves like cryptocurrency. And there are some great projects out there. So these are some of the trades that we've done this year. Let's look at one more. Let's go to Theta. Theta is a cryptocurrency, just to give your listeners a little bit of a background here. There's a lot of people right now coming out on YouTube that have far more subscribers than the two of you. And they're going, oh my gosh, you guys got to look at this crypto. This is the next big thing. And Theta is already at $2.20. Let me just ask both of you, Bud, Fox, do you own Theta?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay. Paul, do you own Theta?
Absolutely.
At what price do you guys own Theta? Give me an average.
My average is
It's
probably
way down
around
there. It's
10
absolutely.
cents.
Okay, so about 10 cents for Paul. Where's yours, do you think? Give me an average for you, bud.
I'm actually just going into my portfolio now and having a look because I bought this quite a while ago, and my first trade, it looks like, yeah, it's about 12 cents.
All right, so let's just go with 10 cents.
I've even got a trade here of 6 cents. Wow, look at that, 6 cents. Oh, why did I not buy more?
Yeah, that's what we always say. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Now, for 2 years, I bought my first Theta around 13 cents, and that was over here when Theta first came out. And I continued to buy every time the price would get cut in half. I'm just like Paul. I'm probably between 7 and 10 cents on Theta. So you could pull this down a hair like this, and let's call it 8.5. All right, that's my average position, is right through here. Once again, you're seeing a trend, and the trend you're seeing is me telling people collect a position down here. We're swing traders, and when we got in this position way back here, Paul, what did I tell people was going to be our first target to be selling Theta? What price point?
You're gonna have to remind me. I haven't sold any.
Bud, do you remember?
I think
Yeah,
it was
it $6?
$6. I think it was $6, wasn't it?
$6 to $7 was my very first target.
Okay.
So guys, we are still in Theta. Your listeners, I want them to hear this. We're still in Theta, and we are up right now 2,870% our money. We are creating wealth. We are not making money day trading. A day trader does this. A day trader gets in here, and right there they get out. And then they get in here, and then right there they get out. And then they get in here, and it doesn't look good, and they take a little loss. And then they get in again on a breakout, and they make a little bit of money right there. And then they think it's going to go higher, and it doesn't, and it goes down, and they get out. And they do this all the way up. And by the time they're done with their profits and their losses, day traders have a lot of losses too. They have a lot of wins, they have a lot of losses. But when they get done, at the end of it, they go, oh my God, I made $100,000 on Theta. Paul and Bud, what have I called the Theta token? The Theta token is the one token in this decade you can do what with? What can you do with Theta token in this decade?
Boy.
Create generational
remember?
wealth.
Generational wealth. I've said this is a coin. If you're smart and you know what you're doing, and you follow along, and you're not in and out all the time, you take your profits at the proper time. I've said to people, an individual can not just become a millionaire, not just become a centimillionaire, they could actually become a billionaire in one currency, one cryptocurrency, in this decade with Theta token. And I have proven the math and proven the math and proven the math over and over again. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give your audience, because this doesn't matter now, this doesn't degrade our private group. Our target is between $8 and $6.50. And we plan to take that profit between now and March, the end of March. We're going to take that profit. When it breaks out from here again, which it's starting to do now this week, the next upside target is basically here. So we would actually, on our very first trade in Theta, we would actually, let's click on this and bring this up. We would actually, let's just say we get out around 675. Let's just call it that. One trade, ladies and gentlemen, 7,658%. 7,658%. Can I just tell your audience that I have enough Theta here that this one trade will equal about the amount of money I've made in my entire life. It will equal about the amount of money. And we're leaving one little part out there, and the part we're leaving out is that because we all got really interested in Theta, and many of us bought thousands of coins, some people bought hundreds of thousands of coins, I bought millions of coins. Because of that, and we were involved in this space, along came this little event that none of us knew was going to happen, and the Theta token team said, hey, we're doing an airdrop. And we're giving you another token called Theta Fuel, and we're going to give it to you at a rate of 5-to-1. So whatever you're holding on your Theta, we're going to give you 5 times that amount for free, for absolutely free. And so if you had thousands, you now had thousands and thousands of Theta Fuel. If you're like me, you had millions, you got millions and millions of Theta Fuel. So now we're looking at our next upside target here, which I'm not going to give away. I'm not going to pull the chart down much further. I'm not going to give away our upside target. But when we take our profits on Theta Fuel, at the same time we're taking our profits on Theta, and we got Theta Fuel for free, ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you, it's as much money as I've made in my entire lifetime on one trade. That is called a transfer of wealth. That is called creating wealth. That's not called, hey, let me take my chances and get into Apple like the country of Sweden is doing, and they're saying, hey, we think Apple's a good store of value. I don't need Apple. We've got Theta. Well, what is Theta? Theta is the same group that built YouTube, and they've been given a task to come out here and build a new system. And so just like the people that said, hey, what is this new thing Facebook you're building? And 8 people jumped on board with Mark Zuckerberg, and they're all billionaires today. But they had to go through this first. They got to go through the building stages. So we're going to take our profits right up here. And when we do, we already have a spot picked out where we're going to get back in. And we already have, I'm not going to tell you guys this because there's people that pay for this information. By the way, they don't pay much. They pay less than $900 a year to get all this phenomenal information we're talking about here. But we have a spot somewhere up here that we're going to take another profit. And that's after we get back in somewhere down here. And that's the things that I go over at the BitcoinAcademy.net. And I could sit here and go through one after another. How about this one? Let's just look at this one. We won't go through it. And then I think we'll conclude with
Actually,
that.
Jay, just before you do that, you've sparked a thought, which I think the audience, the boomers, would love to hear, which is that I remember all the big assets coming out, the big tech companies, Google, Twitter, Facebook, and we never really got an opportunity as the retail public to benefit from that.
Yeah.
But what this crypto market is doing is it's almost reversing the pyramid in that we, for the first time, have an opportunity, the general public, have an opportunity to get ahead of the private investors, the Wall Street, and we have an opportunity to benefit from the next technological revolution that is happening. And that's why I think that everyone needs to learn about this.
Absolutely. You're exactly right, bud.
People our age also sit there and go, man, I wish I would have gotten in on the ground floor of the when the internet came out, all the tech stocks. I wish I would have created wealth that way. This is our chance. This is it. It's right in front of us. And as Jay's talking about Theta Fuel, I'm sitting here like a student, got my hand raised because I know what the target is on T Fuel. And let me tell you something. You want to know what the target is on T Fuel because I'm stoked about it. Jay and I talked about it a little bit this morning. So anyway.
Absolutely. So this was another trade we took, and just to really quickly go over it, this was 23 bars. We're looking at a weekly chart here. So this is 23 weeks, guys. Get in your trade, go live your life. When we got in this trade, I immediately gave people the target. I told them this trade, we're going to take our profits between $20 and $21. If you look at this right here, that highest candle right there, it was at $20.71. $20.71. And I teach everybody, you take your profit on the way to a target. We started selling this at $19.76. And we sold it for the next dollar, and we were out before it dropped all the way back to $7. Okay, we had a target to re-enter this trade that was lower than 7. We missed that target. We pivoted our money into other projects that were already 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 times our money. So not everything works out when you're an investor, and when it doesn't work out, you've got to know how to pivot. You've got to know how to go do something different instead of going, oh no, I missed my opportunity and now I have to chase it. And chasing it means that you bring down your ability to increase wealth. So we don't chase projects. There's always something else to be involved in. But I mean, this was almost half a year of your life, and you sat right here and it went up 1,281%. That was fantastic. When we took this profit, can I tell you, as a group, I kind of heard through the grapevine there was over $100 million worth of profit taken in our group on that one trade. And so, as you guys, I'm gonna tell you guys something. I'm gonna tell your listener. I'm not talking to you, Bud. I'm not talking to you, Paul. I'm talking to your listeners right now. I'm gonna read them something that is on my desk here, and it's on my desk as a reminder for me every single day. And here's what it is. It says, it's usually more important to be in the right room than to be the smartest person in the room. And a person with great judgment and average intelligence will usually beat out someone with great intelligence and average judgment. Therefore, we can conclude that judgment is knowing what room to be in. And because of that statement, and the reason I'm reading it to your listeners is they need to be paying attention to your channel. You guys are out here promoting a room that people can be involved in, and they can change their life forever. Forever, they can change their life. As opposed to, they can go to another YouTube channel that has 363,000 viewers, and they can make a little money today. I'm talking about changing your life forever, because guys, if you're not in the mode of creating wealth, you are not going to keep up with the amount of money that this country and other countries are going to print in this decade. Mm-hmm. We have gone from our country just printed $50 million to then it went to hundreds of millions. Then it went to, oh my gosh, the first time ever they printed $1 billion. And then it went to 50 billion, and then it went to hundreds of billions. And now we've, for the first time, printed 2-point-something trillion dollars, then another trillion. Now we're looking at 2 more trillion. And I am here to tell you this trend is not slowing down, it's speeding up. And if you're not in the mode of being in the right room to actually create wealth and go in that same trend with the money printing, you're going to be left behind, and you're going to go, I used to have all this buying power and I could do what I wanted to do, and now I'm afraid to spend a stinking dime because it doesn't go anywhere anymore. And if I spend it, I don't have it. And if I don't have it, I'm still going to live for 20 more years. Mm-hmm. Baby boomers in particular, I am very interested in helping baby boomers myself. And I applaud both of you for having this channel, because you're interested in helping those baby boomers too. There is an all-out attack on their money, and if they'll come get in the right room with us, I think that they can combat some of that and really do very well.
One of the things that you've showed me, and one of the passions that I've found that I have, and I think it's probably because of the story we told about my dad, but is helping people create wealth. To know that it is not hopeless, that you have the ability and the opportunity to create wealth. And one of the things I want to ask you, Jay, is let's talk to the guy or the gal that has been working a job, a state job, or an insurance adjuster, or somebody that's been working a restaurant and just been busting their butt for the past 30, 40 years. And they don't have $1 million to invest. They've managed to put together, $20,000, $30,000, $50,000. Is this something that works for them too? I mean, you don't have to have $1 million to get started. You don't have to have $10 million to become wealthy. Somebody that that may have a little extra money on the side, 10, 20, 30 grand that they want to invest and create wealth with. Tell me how that looks, Jay.
I'll tell you how it looks, because I have a perfect example to give you. I have a 21-year-old son, and about right at the end of the bull market, he put a little bit of money in crypto and it went way up, and he was really impressed by that. And so we put together a plan during the bear market. Now, the bear market, for those of you that don't really 100% understand that, basically anything that expands at the rate of like a Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, a big, huge expansion always calls for also a big, huge contraction. You can't have one without the other. You can't pull that rubber band way back and just keep it there and keep pulling on it. It eventually snaps. So as for it to not snap, it's got to now come back to where it started from or get close to where it started from. And in our market, we call that kind of a bear market cycle. It doesn't mean that Bitcoin or crypto goes bearish forever. It just means, hey, we've got to have a little correction here. So that's what we're calling when we say a bear market. For Bud and Paul and myself, we have just in August come out of a 33-month time frame where the prices were pulling back and they were giving that correction and they were giving you a healthy market to be ready for the next expansion, which we're in now. During that time, I made a plan with my son and I said, look, if you'll every single month, you're a young, capable young man, you're working a phenomenal job, you're making more money than most people at 21 years old, and you need to be putting $500 to $1,000 into this crypto market. And you know, this is not me telling him what he needed to do. This is him coming to me and saying, Dad, what do I do? Like, tell me what to do. Show me how to learn. Show me what to do here. I'm excited about this because he saw what happened at the end of 2017. So on this much smaller income than most people in the world, at that time he was 19 years old, today he's 21, and now he's making even more money than he was making then, but he started to put in $300 to $500 every single month into crypto. And there was nothing happening and nothing happening and nothing happening and nothing happening and nothing happening. And he's going, Dad, are you sure I should be doing this? Yes, son, this too will come to an end. When this cycle is over, we go to the next cycle. This is the time to be collecting. And it reminds me of a story I heard once called the Chinese bamboo tree, where you go out and you water this tree every day, you put the seed in the ground, you water this tree every day, nothing's happening. You water the seed, nothing's happening, nothing's happening, nothing's happening. Got to go out and water the tree again, nothing's happening. And then all of a sudden in 30 days or 60 days, the Chinese bamboo tree grows like 40, 50, 60 feet. And if you're looking at the chart today, I was telling him every single time I was telling him that Ethereum was under, you know, $150, anywhere in here, anywhere in here, anywhere over here, I was saying, son, now he's my son, so I can tell him, I don't have to beat around the bush. Son, buy some Ethereum. Son, buy some Ethereum. Son, buy some Ethereum. So here we're talking exactly about what your question is, Paul. Someone who doesn't even have 50,000. He didn't have 50,000. He had an extra $300 to $500 a month. Okay, and he's been buying crypto for 2 years in the bear market, and now the positions are growing. Look at this Chinese bamboo tree. All of a sudden, it grows 90 feet, and it goes from $80 to $1,600, and it's not stopping there. It's going to thousands of dollars. And he texted me 2 days ago, and he said my portfolio just went over $180,000, and he's so excited. Now that's someone who didn't even have 10,000, didn't have 30,000. And some people, just to make sure your listeners don't start guessing and making assumptions, they would go, well, yeah, his rich crypto dad gave him some crypto. Mm-hmm. My son has gotten a crypto gift from me maybe 3 times. And that was actually back in the beginning when his birthday came around. I'm a big Litecoin holder. I would say, here, son, here's 5 Litecoin for your birthday. Don't sell them. Here, son, here's 5 Litecoin for Christmas. Don't sell them. So we're talking about my contribution to his portfolio is probably less than $1,500. Mm-hmm. That's it. I've never given him any Bitcoin. I've never given him anything else. And when I tell him about something, I say, hey, get your money together and go get it. And he's following along just like you guys are and learning just right alongside of you guys. So I hope that gives you an even better answer to your question. Here's somebody who doesn't even have a nest egg, but they have an income and they can go $300 to $500 a month. And at 21 years old, 19, 20, 21, we're talking less than 3 years, he's hitting $180,000 nest egg, which probably in the next 60 days will go to 600,000 plus, maybe even $1 million at 21 years old with no
Yep.
nest egg. Does
Yep.
that answer your question?
Fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this relates to anyone, and that's what I wanted to make sure we got through there, is that you do not have to be a millionaire to start investing in crypto. You can, anybody can do this. Anyway, just wanted to point that out. That's fantastic.
Guys, this has been a real pleasure for me today. I'd love to come back again and share with your audience, but I'm very passionate about this. I'm passionate to see the everyday citizen being able to participate, that the everyday person who just has a couple of $100. I mean, I've showed you trades here today of 7,000%. You put
Right.
$100 in a 7,000% trade, and you just created your first nest egg. And we have a lot. We only talked about a couple of trades. We have a lot of trades right now that we're in. Look, let me show your audience one more we're in right now. We got into this coin at 2 cents.
Yep.
2 cents. This is in the top 10 cryptos in the world. We got in at 2 cents. All of us have big, huge, massive positions in this particular crypto. And at 2 cents, today it's trading at 43 cents. We have an upside target, which we're not going to talk about here live because we don't want to disrespect all the people paying for that target. But we have a target that we're going to sell this for the first time that goes into many dollars. And that time is coming probably in the next 60 days. This trade will end up being a trade where we got 100 times our money, 200 times our money, 300 times our money. And if you had $100, 100 times your money, that's $10,000. 200 times your money, that's $20,000. You just got your first nest egg. So we would be a little remiss if we didn't add that to your question, Paul.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
great.
anybody can do this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'm excited about the channel. I mean, we're very, very new, but we've got some good content already, and that's going to continue to get better. You've been generous enough to allow us to take little pieces of your teachings and put them on the channel, that so that people can see, you know, little 5 to 8 minute clips of some relevant teachings. And we're going to do that. We're going to try to do that on a weekly basis, and then to have you on at least once a month, provided your schedule will allow it. I know that you've got to speak to, I forget how many people you told me you were getting ready to speak to, but it was in the thousands, about professional investors, I think, about the crypto market. So I know your time is definitely on demand. So Bud and I are really excited, and the cool thing is George couldn't be on here today because he's traveling, but he messaged me this morning, and you could tell he really wanted to be on here with us, and he will be back on with us next week to chat a little bit about cybersecurity, and you know, we'll just continue learning and continue creating wealth. So with that, Bud, did you have anything else before we wrap this up?
Just wanted to say thank you to Jay, and just to reiterate that what the training does is it helps flip the opportunity to your side. So you're not buying way up the chart, you know, like most people will be naturally buying while we're selling. So that's why training is important, and I appreciate that, Jay. And Paul, thanks for the session today.
Absolutely. One thing I will add, just to add to that, you sparked a memory here, or a reminder. Jay talked about the link trade, the chain link trade, and how we got out around the $20 mark, which I did. And we were waiting for the pullback to get to a buy target, and it never quite made it there. The cool thing is that we pivoted into some other things. I personally pivoted into ADA and PPT, and am way up since then for that. And it's not like we're not going to get back into Chainlink. We're just being patient, waiting for that next pullback, so that you know, we can wait for that buying opportunity. And that's something that you chart and you show us and you teach us to chart. And I'm looking forward to that too. but there's almost always an opportunity in crypto. And if there's not, go enjoy life. That's what Jay's taught us. Just go enjoy life, and know that you're in a market that's going to bless you abundantly. So anyway, with that, guys, I really appreciate your time, Jay. I love talking to you. I love our conversations, love our friendship. And with that, guys, all you crypto boomers, just remember, it's not our goal to invest, but it's our goal to create wealth. Have a good one.